All right, welcome in. It's the Logan Ward Show. Hope y'all are having a fantastic day. We are ready to get going on what is a monumentous day in sports. Look, I know that this might be contrarian. I don't like the fact that the Lakers sold. I understand that there is value in being sold from a team that is family run, family oriented. I think that there is tremendous value in having a group of people own a team where they make decisions and it is not a one person fits all or one person is making all the decisions that can kind of ruin a team or whatnot. However, this feels kind of like the end of an era. And what I mean by that is there is no way that singular people can now own teams. There is no way. There is not a way now for people to make some money, buy a professional team without the price tag starting with a B, which means that there is only a handful of people in the world that can actually own said teams. And what we're seeing now is all these groups are buying these franchises. Now, I understand that not one person owns every piece of every team, right? The Bus family is just, they're selling the majority stake, so now it's whoever, holds the majority of the ownership. It's the same thing with Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban had other investors with the Dallas Mavericks, but he was the controlling owner and he made the decisions, and it was kind of this really cool story. But what we're seeing now is these groups are buying these teams. Now, they might have a singular person in the head of charge, but I think that this gets back to a bigger story on what is sports for us. I think as consumers, as people who watch sports all the time, I think that we love competition, we love the entertainment of it, but sports have become so much bigger than that. Sports has become now in ways for people to just get richer and to really expedite the amount of money that they can make. And this era where there were people who were owning these teams, there was the Bus family. This kind of, again, not rags to riches, because Jerry Buss made a good living for himself with real estate. He made a good living. But these somewhat rags to riches stories, and it being a family business, and that this is what this person's going to do, right? This is the baby. That I don't think is going to happen as long as these teams keep selling. We've seen it with the Boston Celtics, who have had multiple owners, and now again they just sold for $6 billion in their ownership group. We've seen it all over sports. There is no more, hey, you have $80 million that you can throw at a team. Great. No, now you have to have $1 billion. And that is a huge difference. I'm going to miss it, because I think that what sports is turning into, it is a entertainment business, but it has gotten to the point now where it's an entertainment business and also a real estate business. All of these teams, Mark Cuban sold the Mavericks and the majority stake of the Mavericks to casino owners who had owned some real estate. What is their plan for the Dallas Mavericks? Well, they want to build a new arena outside of downtown Dallas, and they want to build hotels and basically an amusement park around this. Gambling sites. People can go to games, gamble. They want to try to push Texas legislator opening gambling to the state. But that's what this is. And I am not saying that it is the end of sports, but I do think that there is incredible value in a family-run business in sports. I do think that there's value there. If we are talking about people who love their team, and sometimes we talk about these owners being controlling. We talk about, James Dolan and how he's using the Knicks as kind of like a toy. He does whatever he wants with the Knicks. I think that if we, I know this sounds crazy, if we remove some of these characters in ownership and these guys just become corporate heads, I think that we lose some of the value and some of the entertainment in sports. I'm a Cowboys fan. Okay, as you can see around me, if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. I'm a Cowboys fan. I live in Texas. I've been a Cowboys fan my whole life. I am 28 years old, and I have never seen the Dallas Cowboys in an NFC Championship game. I have books here. Boys Will Be Boys, Jeff Pearlman, great book. I have it here about the dynasties of the 90s. I was not born when this was around. I think that Jerry, as a GM, is not very good, even though I think he actually gets a bad rap. Jerry, the owner, is a really good owner. And what I think we are going to lose is owners who care so much about their team, their product, their reputation. Because one thing that a Genie Bus does, or a Bus family, Jerry Bus specifically, a Jerry Jones, a James Dolan, what these kind of eccentric owners, and I think that you can kind of throw in Steve Ballmer into this. What I think it does is, one, it provides storylines. It provides fun. It provides entertainment. We're talking about right now, the Knicks have no idea who their head coach is going to be. And we're talking right now about, was this James Dolan's decision? And, the Knicks got good a couple of years because James Dolan went and messed with the sphere, and now he's back, and now he's meddling. That's part of the entertainment, and that's what makes some of these teams set apart. They're different than the others. The one thing that makes the Green Bay Packers so different is that they are not owned by a specific person. They are owned by the fans, right? That you can buy a percentage of the Green Bay Packers. What I think you are starting to see is owners become more corporate. They are not as front-facing, which a lot of people are going to say, that's great. I don't want my owners involved. I don't want one person overly involved in the process of picking the players or the business, right? I want an owner that hires people to do this. I think you lose value when all of your owners are faceless. No one knows who they are. No one knows their stories. No one knows what drove them to buy this team. Say what you will about Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys because he loves football. Loves football. Some of which is obviously a detriment to him and his team, where he thinks he knows more football than maybe he does and is the GM. But Jerry bought the Cowboys because he loves football. Jerry bought the Cowboys because he loves professional football and wants it to thrive. And I think that there is actually a lot of value in that, where these people care and it's a family business. Right now, we're sitting here thinking about the Jones family and going, okay, look, Jerry's seems like he's in good health, but let's not kid ourselves. Jerry's not going to be running the Cowboys for another 20 years. He's an older man, right? We're sitting here in Dallas thinking about, okay, so is it going to be Stephen Jones who takes over, that the owner and president? Like, Charlotte Jones is involved in this. Like, it is a family business. And I think that there's actually value in that in professional sports. I think if you get a bunch of investment groups, like what is happening now with the Red Sox and the Dodgers and now the Lakers, and all these investors overseas at like English Premier League teams, you see that J.J. Watt is part of a group, and you see all these people that are part of groups that are owning teams. I think it becomes less about enjoyment for the fans. I think it becomes less about having an impact in the community and wanting these things to be something that fans enjoy, and really caring about the sport and the product that you have, rather than just knowing that these are kind of rocket ships and they're just going to continue to rise. I think that there's tremendous value in the Buss family being a part of the NBA story. Jerry's rise, you saw we had a Winning Time documentary, another Jeff Pearlman book, which I don't have right here. It's actually in the other room, but about the Showtime Lakers and Jerry Buss becoming a HBO series. I think there's tremendous value in those stories. There's tremendous value in us knowing Jeannie Buss, I know that it was kind of a circus with her and Phil Jackson and dating and Kobe and all these things, but I think that's what makes sports fun. That's what makes these things entertaining. And I think that if we get to a point where it's just ownership groups where 6 people are investing and there's not really a face of the team, I think that actually damages the product in a way. And I'm sitting here today going, all right, $10 billion for the Lakers, and I'm not going to know who their owner is. I'm not going to necessarily care because it's not Jeannie Buss. It's not a Buss family member. We talk about these owners, James Dolan, Steinbrenner for so many years with the Yankees, Jerry Jones, Robert Kraft, and him as well. Robert Kraft is a very public-facing person. If it was not Robert Kraft and it was just a bunch of random people coming together to kind of put up this money for a team, I think that you kind of lose that. Matt Ishbia with the Suns just put up a ton of money, and he's part of the conversation, and I think that's good. Sometimes we forget that, yes, this is a business, but this is an entertainment business. And as fans of those teams, look, I don't want Jerry Jones to be a part of the GM. I don't want him to be the GM. I want Jerry to be our owner, because what he has done, taking the Cowboys from a team where he bought for $89 million and no one cared about to what they are today, that is significant, because Jerry knows the value of an entertainment in the entertainment business. That was my main thought with this Lakers sale, is we're now going to get to the point where they're just going to be a bunch of nameless groups who are owning these teams, and this guy now owns like 3 different sports teams. No one cares, right? It's just a way for them to make more money, and I understand that's what all the owners want. I'm not denying that, but what I am saying is that we start getting to this point where it's just these, not anonymous, but these no-name people that are buying these teams, and we don't have the cast of characters behind the scenes, and we don't have that. I think that actually diminishes some of the entertainment value of the league and of these sports leagues and these entertainment. Like, we're already talking about these teams and these leagues having way too many advertisements. It's becoming more corporate than ever. You have to buy every subscription, right, because they want to make more money. And if you don't have anyone to like point a finger at, if you don't have these cast of characters, I think that actually hurts the league, any sports league. So those are my thoughts on the Lakers selling for a record $10 billion, which, by the way, guys, all this money's fake. That's not even a real number. Come on. $10 billion? No one just has $10 billion cash. I mean, it's all assets, and it's just money's not real. All right. Okay. quick preview of Game 6 tonight, Pacers and the Thunder. Game 6 tonight. I think Tyrese Haliburton's going to go. From what I've seen, he participated in the shoot-around yesterday and the walkthrough yesterday. He says, I think Shams reported that he says that he's going to go. So that's what we can take our word for it there. If he's going to play. Now, how effective is he going to be? I don't know. The good thing about this situation is that Tyrese Haliburton is not the scoring option for the Pacers. It would be one thing if Shea was dealing with the calf injury and you're like, all right, well, the leading scorer for this team is out. Obviously, Haliburton does a tremendous job facilitating the offense, and the offense runs through him. But I don't think that this is like, all right, LeBron's out. No, this is Tyrese Haliburton's out. You still have Siakam. Miles Turner, maybe you can bring it on. Siakam had a good Game 5. TJ McCollum had a great third quarter and into the fourth quarter in Game 5, so you can keep that momentum because that's all you're looking for. You're just trying to get this to a Game 7. I do think that the Indiana crowd's going to be exciting. I think that they're going to be ready for tonight's game, so I do think that factors into it. And for the record, this Oklahoma City Thunder team is not the same team at home as they are on the road. It's a different team, and this Indiana team has played really well at home this postseason. So I do think that we're still in for a fight. I don't think that it's going to be a blowout tonight. If Haliburton can go and is at least effective on the offensive side of the ball, then I think it's going to be maybe even closer, and I wouldn't put it past the Pacers to win. All of that being said, I do think that SGA and the Thunder win tonight and win their first ever NBA championship. This Thunder team is really good, and if you have SGA, who's played extremely well this season, the deserving MVP, has played really well in this postseason, and in the finals, Game 5, he did not have like a, oh my gosh, this was an incredible game by Shea, but if you look at it, I'm going to pull up here, if you look at this, okay, so I don't think it was kind of a slow. Jalen Williams obviously had the 40-point night with the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 4, or in Game 5, excuse me. And you look at that and you're like, okay, so he's kind of the main guy. And Shea, at times, it felt like he wasn't playing very well or he wasn't being very aggressive. But you look at the box score and he still scored 31 points, 10 assists. He was 13 of 14 from the line and shot 42% from the field. So, Shea, this series has been fantastic. Game 1, 38 points, 3 assists. Game 2, 34 points, 8 assists. Game 3 is what his clunker, I guess you would say. He was 9 for 20. He only went to the free throw line 6 times in Game 3. Still scored 24 points. In Game 4, 35 and no assist, which is kind of crazy as your point guard. You don't have any assist. And then in Game 5, 31 and 10. So he's been good. He's been great. This has been kind of a crazy series for him. Let me see here as we're sitting here looking at these things, and this friggin' Basketball Reference isn't doing what I want it to do. Sometimes these websites, man, I try to do this and it's like it's not popping up, and I don't know why it's not doing that. But anyway, okay, so Shea's been great. Shea's been really good. Jalen Williams obviously had the 40-point game in Game 5. I do think that the Thunder win this game, and I want to be – I am hesitant on the dynasty talk for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think we get a little bit excited when we talk about dynasties because we've talked about dynasties in the last, 4 years. the Celtics were supposed to be a dynasty. They have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Drew Holiday, and all these guys are coming back. And then guess what? You're starting to lose to the Knicks. You have 2 games where you can't hit a 3 to save your life. You can't hit a 3 at all in 2 games, and you're down. And then your best player tears his Achilles and is going to be out for pretty much the entire regular season and postseason for the following year. So now you're looking at 2 years. You have the Nuggets, who won a championship, but then you have to pay players. Luckily, you have the best player in the league. Giannis and the Bucks were in this new era where I don't know if dynasties are going to be prevalent in this era of the NBA. So I look at all this stuff, and I know that the Thunder have a young team. I know they're the youngest team. They'll be the youngest team to win the NBA Finals, I believe, if they win tonight, or if they win the series in general. I do think that they are set up pretty nicely because they're going to have to pay Jalen Williams this offseason. You're going to have to pay Chet Holmgren. You're going to have the SGA's getting paid. You're going to have to pay these guys. And if you can pay those 3 and then hopefully rotate your bench and your backup guys, I think that you are in a position that you could do that because you have all these draft picks. And if you just go and get older players, you get college players that have played 2 to 3 years that you think can make an immediate impact that season or the next 2 or 3 years while they're on their rookie contract, I do think that is extremely valuable, where you might not have to go and get people and pay people to kind of round out the depth of your team. You'll just have that through the draft. So, all right. Those are the 2 things I wanted to talk about today. Be sure to subscribe wherever you are listening on Apple Podcast, and hit that like button on YouTube because that does good stuff for the algorithm. We'll be back. I'll react to Game 6 either tonight or tomorrow, and then if it goes to 7 in the NBA Finals, we'll talk about that coming up here shortly. So be sure to subscribe, and we'll catch you real soon. All right, peace.